Um, what can I say about Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty? When this game was announced for PlayStation 2, I was like super hyped, and the anticipation was probably the highest anticipation I have ever experienced in a game. For any game, the same enthusiasm about this game. Everybody was. I have magazines. I'm gonna show you. I still have my PlayStation magazines from 2000 and 2001. Just how anticipated I was about this game. As you all know, Metal Gear Solid 1998. Metal Gear Solid was like top. I want you guys to think about this. For those of you who weren't born back then, and you were born in mid 2005 or 2006, somewhere around there, and yeah, you never played PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, I want you to think about this for a minute. Going back from Metal Gear Solid 1, it was something that we haven't seen in gaming consoles. This was like breakthrough in graphical technology for the console. I'm talking about a console. Even PC. I guarantee you, even Gabe from Valve, from Half-Life, was looking at this and saying, God damn, that PlayStation 2 in terms of graphics. You know, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Xbox. Sure, Xbox has its share of games, Gears, Halo. Okay, the list goes on. Forza, that's the list. Crackdown. But let's face it, really. Sony's been doing this for how many decades now? Big Boss, A-Spec, Gran Turismo 3. I mean, there was just PlayStation 2 alone. It was something that even Dreamcast couldn't keep up with. Like, they had to quit. Sega quit. They're like, okay, we're quitting. The hell with this. I mean, hypothetically, they were this day, when it comes to first party games, AAA first party. Look at God of War. It's gonna hit billions of dollars by the end of the year. I guarantee you, worldwide, $1 billion is gonna make that game alone. And God knows how powerful the sequel is going to be. Okay, but now let's talk about Hideo Kojima and Metal Gear Solid. Everything about Metal Gear Solid 2 here was unique. The graphics, number one. Number two, the sound effects, okay? The S-Force of sound that they were using, this dynamic sound, and the Dolby, I think they were using Dolby Digital because DVDs were introduced. This was put on a DVD-ROM. So that was something that where you can hold even more data, you know, to put this game in the on the disc. Stuff, everything you see here, the hair works, the body movement, everything you see here was way before green screen, way before motion capture, putting the dots on the face. This was all rendered in 3D via PlayStation 2 chip, GPU chip, and CPU. And to see something like this, the motion blur, not to mention the storyline and the characters of this game that was introduced. It was just amazing. Now let's listen to it a little bit. I'm going to give you guys some better sound quality so you guys can hear just how good this PlayStation 2 game looked. All right, and then we'll continue talking about it. All right.
I'd say about 18 people.
AKS 74U. Russians?
You sure?
Let's get an ID on him ASAP.
I'm on it.
Looks like the tanker's theirs now. K-60 Kasatka.
Kasatka? Kamov chopper, right?
Necessarily. It could be the KA-62, the civil model.
Look, Snake, all we need is the photographic evidence of Metal Gear. As long as we have those, we can put it online and blow the whole thing wide open. So no pyrotechnics, okay?
All right. I'll do my best.
This isn't like Shadow Moses. Reach me if anything happens. The frequency's 141.12.
How can I check in?
Waiting just past the Verrazano Bridge. You need to be off that ship by then.
I'll be in touch.
As you can see, I mean, everything from the sound, surround sound, Dolby Digital, the rain effects. Look at these effects. A game, especially in a console game. And this type of textures and animation, everything was brand new. Also switching between the third-person mode to a first-person mode to use the gun. All right, there's some funny stuff right here. So, like I said previously, the most anticipated sequel, I would say, of all time. Maybe next to Half-Life 2. But the most anticipated sequel right here on a console, this was something that really, what Sony did, what Hideo Kojima did here, he kind of proved the point, look, consoles can actually push the envelope and they can actually coexist and compete. This game looks amazing. And how old is this game? 2001. About like 18 years. Okay, even after, let's just circle it 20 years. Okay, but it's 18 years, but I'm gonna circle it. It's almost 20 years. It's gonna be 20 years pretty soon. So anyway, 18 years. Even after 18 years, Metal Gear Solid 2. And it's still great. Okay. Now, what you're looking at here, it's not a, per se, PlayStation. It is a PlayStation 2 version, but it's the remastered HD PlayStation 2. It's still a PlayStation 2 game. It's just HD mastered, all right? I have the HD collection. I wait a little bit, and then I put the video. And then I put myself on the green screen so that way I can commentate while we're watching this. Because it's hard for me to play and then commentate at the same time because I need to focus. And that's why I'm doing it like this. But still, like I said, even after, this is the same engine. Nothing is being enhanced. Only resolution's being bumped up a little bit, you know, being upscaled. Loading time was quick. Saving was quick. Like I said, interaction with switching between the first-person view to a third-person was really combined nicely here. And I and in Zone of the Enders, there was a demo of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. And I remember I specifically bought Zone of the Enders. Not that I didn't like the game. Sure, I played the game. It was okay, but it wasn't my type of a thing, you know. But the main reason I bought Zone of the Enders was because of the... Okay, but the main reason why a lot of people bought Zone of the Enders was because of the demo, Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. 2001 was a very unique year in terms of gaming. We had Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. We had Gran Turismo 3 Ace Pack. We had Silent Hill 2. And we had Grand Theft Auto 3. This is all on PlayStation 2001. However, but still, in terms of gaming, it was great. Especially with the Metal Gear Solid 2, Silent Hill 2, and Grand Theft Auto 3. You know. And even the codec was changed a little. Hideo Kojima, and this is why I like his games. This is why everybody loves Hideo Kojima, because he always pushes the envelope. You know, when he makes a game, it's going to be something something different, something new, and something unique, and that's what we see with Hideo Kojima games. All right, let's go and watch some more of Metal. Now we're gonna meet Olga. It'll be a fight between me and Olga here. So I want you to pay attention to sound effects.
Shalashaska has landed. I'm on my way to the tanker holds. Report your status.
Control room, communications, and engine room are under control. All in 3.
The tanker will be scuttled.
And the vehicle's pilot.
He's the only one who underwent the VR training. No one else can do it.
Are you sure you can trust him?
Your part in the mission is complete. You are to leave at once.
No, it's not over yet.
I can see the moon, even in this storm, pale as death. I have a bad feeling about this mission. You swore this to me, that you would leave the unit once. To make here, Olga? Need I remind you that you are carrying my grandchild? You will be on the helicopter out of here now.
Damn it.
Slowly. A woman. Show your face.
You men, you're all the same.
Who are you?
We are nomads. Wanderers.
I said... Not there. Toss it overboard. Hold that position. Now, turn around.
You know what you're doing. And that brings our tour to its conclusion.
Scout knife with a surprise. You a Spetsnaz?
I think you deserve a little credit. No one's ever dodged that shot of mine. But no one gets lucky twice, either.
That was back then. Even today, when I'm watching at these scenes, paying attention, what I was doing basically, I was re-examining the scene, and I hope you guys do the same thing. That's the whole point of me doing these episodes. It's going back in time and then letting you know why some of these games were so significant and why I personally believe these games push the envelope for the other developers out there to the animation, the raindrops, all this detail back then in 2001, 18 years ago. Look at this. Even this, the wind, the way it's blowing the that sheet that was covering the ammunition, the raindrops hitting on the crates. All of this stuff was groundbreaking for a console back in 2001. And experience this amazing game called Metal Gear Solid, tactical espionage action game. And then to hear the announcement that there's going to be a new console, PlayStation 2, and a sequel on that console exclusively will be called Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, on a Zone of the Enders disc. And I remember when I played the demo, I just swear to God, I pre-ordered the game. I went to my electronic boutique. I said, I gotta pre-order this. This is it, man. I didn't even touch Grand Theft Auto 3. I played Grand Theft Auto 3 and Silent Hill like in late December or something like that, because maybe he was privy to a lot of information. You know, this is there's a conspiracy. People say that Hideo Kojima was privy to a lot of information. Well, to some respect, he was. A lot of stuff that was shown in Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, and even Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, which I'm going to do in the episode 5, it was shown. People asked me about Silent from the Xbox, from the PlayStation, from Nintendo 64, Dreamcast. Okay, there'll be a bunch of episodes. This is just me taking it one step at a time. I'm choosing the ones that were very iconic back then. And of course, Metal Gear Solid 2 was a very iconic game back then and sold a lot of copies. PlayStation 2 alone in 3 Ace Back and this game, it was just unbelievable. I mean, Tekken Tag Tournament, it was just, look, it was like you had a hard time buying this console. I was lucky enough to that I had pre-ordered it, but I remember people having a hard time buying this console because it was always it was always in shortage. There was such a high demand for the Blockbuster was actually renting a console where you actually, because you can't buy one because they're in shortage. You know, there was such a high demand for the Sony to keep up on their supply. They were actually renting a console. You can go into the Blockbuster and rent, but even if you wanted to rent the console for, like, let's say a 1 week, 7 days, there was a PlayStation 2 console. It was the most highest selling console period that year alone, 2001, man. It was just like, So I was lucky to get one, you know. I was very lucky to get one. I mean, look at the footsteps, like the raindrops on the footsteps and the motion, the way the body moves. They put the dots and everything. This is before that, and this is why I'm doing this video, because I want you to, I want you to let that sink in for you. What Hideo Kojima did here on PlayStation 2, and why he is, to me, the best gaming director there is, developer. He did this way before motion capture, way before the green screen and all this other stuff. Engine, all of it, you know, was able to implement all of this stuff into a console. And for someone like me to experience something like this in 2001, it was just it was an experience. It was groundbreaking. I know it's hard for some of you guys currently in this generation. Spectrum ZX. I was living through this entire evolution of gaming, and for me to see the evolution and to see this was like revolutionary, man. Like, oh my god. And ask anybody who's my generation, and I'm pretty sure you guys will agree that it was a groundbreaking experience. Now, sure, some people were bitching because they were setting us up for the guns of the Patriots. There's a lot of cool things in here, like you're looking at the Raven here. You think it's Raven, he's back, but then you find out it's not. It's just the overshadowing from a projector, you know. And the dynamic light was another cool feature that was implemented into a PlayStation 2. This is something that Hideo Kojima is. He's a perfectionist. He wants to make sure everything's perfect. So the graphics looked great. The sound effects, the score by Harry Gregson Williams, I'm sorry. HGW, famous composer. He composed all of the Metal Gears, except maybe one. I don't know if he's got movies, Man on Fire, Taking of Pelham, Enemy of the State, a bunch of movies he worked on. Kingdom of Heaven, mainly with Scott Brothers. He worked Tony Scott, Ridley Scott. He also worked with Hans Zimmer. He actually came from the Hans Zimmer composing school in England, you know. So thing was top notch when this game came out. But like I said, it wasn't just the graphics that it was like so groundbreaking. That was one part of it, absolutely, of course. But another I think the key, very important part was the also the gameplay, dynamic switching between storyline, the characters, introductions of the new characters like the Vamp, and us finding out that the Liquid didn't die. Liquid still lives inside the Ocelot body, and there were so many. I don't want to, you know, if you have never played this game, I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but there was a lot of surprises. You can't just rush through it. There's so many things you need to explore. You go back to, you find something very unique, like you see posters and whatnot. And then one of the most cool features to me is the codec. You know, talking to all these characters on the codec. You can spend hour. I remember one time I spent an hour just talking on the codec, because there's always dialogue in there just for like the codec. That's just the codec, you communicating. So that shows you just how far Hideo Kojima goes in terms of perfection. He's like James Cameron. And this is why it takes a long time for him to make a video game, because he doesn't want to rush a game. He wants to make sure when the game is done that it looks the best, that you're going to get the best possible experience. So when you go, same thing goes with Death Stranding. When the Death Stranding comes out, whenever it comes out, when you spend that $60, it's going to be the best $60 that you spent. In terms of graphics, it's going to look great on your OLED, on your LEDs, on your projectors, on your monitors, what have you. Graphically, it will look amazing. But above all, to reward you with a experience. Okay, it's going to be an unforgettable experience. And that's what Hideo Kojima games are all about. It's about the unforgettable experience. And this is why he is the master. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to to put down anybody else out there. There's a lot of great developers, you know, like look at CD Projekt Red, Santa Monica, Naughty Dog. I get it, I understand it, but all of them were inspired by Hideo Kojima. Ask any of them, they'll tell you, yeah, Hideo Kojima is the greatest. You know, there's nobody else. He's been doing this. And there's some other newcomers, you know, David Cage is pushing the envelope. I get it, you know, but still, you know, this is the master right here. It's the Hideo Kojima. Everybody knows that, you know. And I know you guys will say, well, what about Final Fantasy, you know? What about Resident Evil? Again, I'm not taking anything away from those creators either. But everything he produced, even Zone of the Enders, everything he makes, it's nothing short of a masterpiece. I mean, really, every game he created was nothing short of a masterpiece. And look at right here. Look at the movement. This is all before motion capture. Now let's watch this a little bit. Let's listen to it, and then I'm gonna commentate later on.
We have sealed the stern hatch.
All right.
The lift is also under our control.
We're on the foredeck, about to descend to the holds.
Sir, the Marine Commander has started his speech already. Yes, sir. We will secure your exit with our lives if necessary.
There is one more thing.
Yes, sir.
My daughter, keep her safe.
Yes, sir.
You know, we didn't see this in a video game, especially the ability to switch between a third person and a first person mode. And look at the smoke effect coming out of the gun barrel. And look at this smoke, and look at all the detail on the pipes you see, the animation, the facial expression, all of this stuff. And like I said, we haven't seen anything like this before, especially on a console, and even on a PC. Man, no one has experienced. Like, I remember PC were like, whoa, really? They can do this on a PlayStation? You know. And even to this day, I'm looking at this game. Even to this day, the cargo hold, where they hold the Metal Gear Ray, and then we find out that Ocelot, it's not really Ocelot, it's actually a liquid snake that's living inside the Ocelot. All of this stuff, it's explained in Guns of the Patriot with Naomi. Naomi explains this very the ninja, remember that ninja in the first game? So all of this stuff, you know, it's implemented. You know what I mean? So let's listen to some more, shall we?
If they get Metal Gear, we're going right off the fringe.
You're all familiar with the Shadow Moses
The men down here.
Can you see Metal Gear?
No, I'll have to go around to the bow. They have some serious defenses here. I doubt the recent arrivals want to blast their way through the Marines either.
Wonder where they're headed.
I don't know. Not the beach, that's for sure.
Okay, Snake. Let's go over this one more time. Front right and front left, and a close-up of the Marine Corps marking.
Marking?
There should be a Marine's insignia on the body of Metal Gear. Just let someone try explaining away a clear shot of that.
All right.
There's actually one little thing.
Just spit it out. I'm used to things. Does it have something to do with that cipher we saw?
Maybe. I've switched the encryption protocol for our burst transmission for now. What I want to do is use a different method for sending these photos, just in case.
Instead of using the codec?
Exactly. There's a workstation in the southeast corner of the block where Metal Gear is housed. I've made arrangements so that you can send the pictures from the machine.
Why bother with anything that complicated?
No, it's pretty simple, really. Look, all you have to do is stand in front of the machine and push the action button. The app will automatically launch and download the image data from the camera, split the files, and encrypt them individually. The data packets can then masquerade as...
Okay. So all I have to do is push the action button in front of the computer once I have the pictures, right? How much time do I have?
I hacked into his personal files and took a look at the text of that speech. I'd say you have 7 more minutes. Longer if he throws in a joke or two.
A 7-minute time limit, huh?
Remember, Snake, just the photos, okay?
With these kinds of odds, I won't be making any sudden moves. But that doesn't mean we can just let Metal Gear be hijacked.
Okay, but first the photos.
All right.
You know, the dialogue between Snake and Emmerich was always intriguing and is always interesting. And, you know, sometimes you can joke around with this game. Like, if you don't take the photos correctly and you take the photos of something else, Emmerich will make a joke about it. He will comment on it. I mean, there's so many Easter eggs here. There's like the replay value of this game was huge. Just like the shell. And before you go to the other second act and the third act of the game, you know, people ask me what was one of the hardest or one of the toughest characters and bosses to fight here. I would say the Vamp. The Vamp was the most interesting and the most dangerous one, in my opinion. Liquid Snake, and yet Liquid Snake killed her father. Okay, so same thing goes with the Kurlovich and his daughter Olga. Remember, she was carrying a baby. And that baby that was going to be born soon was going to be that girl in Guns of the Patriots. All right. And in Guns of the Patriots, you've seen her. You know, everything you see in the game has a reason behind it. You know, you won't find anything here that sits there for no reason. Or if something's being said, it was said for a reason, and then you need to figure out what that is, and you need to connect the dots. This just shows you how much attention to detail Hideo Kojima puts into the game and the franchise when he's another example of why, again, Hideo Kojima-san is the greatest there is. I don't care what anybody says. People can judge me all they want. To me, he's the greatest, and I don't care. I think he has proven himself where he can earn that title and say, hey, I am the greatest. I think it was a bad move from Konami to to get rid of him. I mean, this was your valuable asset. I mean, if I was a CEO of Konami, like the last thing I would want to do, that would be like Universal firing Spielberg, or it's like, come on, you know, or 20th Century Fox firing James Cameron, you know. It would make hopefully maybe one day we'll get the full story, because nobody knows what really took place. There's only one person that knows that, and that's Mr. Hideo Kojima. But when is he going to tell us? I don't know. Maybe he signed a confidentiality agreement or something, and he can't talk. But who knows? You know, a lot of people ask me, what about is there ever going to be a chance that maybe suicide? If you watch the credits of the Guns of the Patriots, after the credits, you know that there was a conversation between Emmerich and Solid Snake. So there was still hope. Emmerich says, I'm working on a cure. There's still hope. So there's a hope for the sequel. And everybody, I know if there is going to be Metal Gear Solid 6, and of course, Hideo Kojima. And of course, bringing back David Hayter, Jennifer Hale, all of these actors, voiceover actors, bringing all of them in. Hell, maybe even do a motion capture with David Hayter. That would be a great idea. So, are we going to see it? Are we going to see the sequel to a Guns of the question? Is there any chance that you might negotiate? I think there's always hope. There's always a chance that, you know, he can negotiate with Konami and say, hey, you know, I really want to bring a sequel to Guns of the Patriots. We owe it to the fans. They need to know what happened to Old Snake, Solid Snake. Needs to be answered in Guns of the Patriots. And I think I have hope. Maybe 8 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, maybe finally, if there's some new CEO in Konami, maybe finally they'll sit down, they'll negotiate. Wars, big as Game of Thrones, big as Walking Dead. You know, it's huge. So let's negotiate and let's work together. Kojima Production with Sony, PlayStation, and Konami, and let's go ahead. Let's merge together and let Kojima Production work with Konami, and let's create a sequel to the place. This is my wishful thinking. All right, but let's hope that maybe in 10 years time we'll see that. Now, as you can see right here, this is Ocelot, but it's liquid living inside the Ocelot body. So let's listen to this conversation right now a little bit, shall we?
Back. This ship now carries enough Simtex on its key structural to move on.
Streets.
I was raised in Snezinsk, formerly known as Chelyabinsk 70, the nuclear research outpost.
What are you talking about?
After the Cold War ended, my home was bought out by the Americans.
Is there a point to this sad story?
Now you would understand. Land, friends, dignity, all sold to the highest bidder, the United States of America. Even the technology...
I regret to inform you that I have no intention of selling Metal Gear. As I said, I came to take it back. Yes, returned to the Patriots.
The Lale...
No hard feelings, Colonel. Mother Russia can rot for all I care.
Since when, Ocelot? When did you turn?
I'm glad you noticed, comrade. I abandoned her during the Cold War.
Ah!
Metal Gear only has room for one!
Traitors! Stop!
Show's over. If you wish to live, I suggest you run now. This ship is still in the lower New York harbor. You may yet make it to shore if you swim for your life.
Been a while, brother.
Who are you?
You know who I am.
Liquid?
Not so young anymore, eh, Snake? You're drowning in time. I know what it's like, brother. No wonder Naomi passed you over for the Fox Die program. Price of physical prodigy. Few more years and you'll be another dead clone of the old man. Our raw materials are rich, brother. Big Boss was in his late 50s when they created his copies. But I
And of course here in Guns of the Patriot, you know, Liquid was still alive, was still inside the Ocelot, and there was a famous fight, spoilers warning, for those who haven't played the Guns of the Patriots, where two brothers, twin snakes, Liquid and Solid. Liquid and Solid are basically fighting each other on that shell tower. About the big boss and his two sons, Liquid and Solid, and how the entire franchise is connected. You know, all of these characters are being introduced. Everything that was being shown to you, it's actually connected. There's a connection to every and each character. And this is where Hideo the ninja, and also what they've done to Solid Snake to age faster. And I mean, there's so much of these, all of these questions that were being posted onto Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Hideo Kojima was setting us up for a Guns of the Patriots sequel. So basically what we see in Guns of the Patriots, it's actually something that was introduced into Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Okay, because that program, that proxy program that he created, all these necessary things for him to advance this nanotechnology. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but if you guys played through all of the Metal Gears, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. You know, what I'm trying to say, everything is connected with Metal Gear Solid games. But if you want to play, you need to play the Big Boss series. You need to play Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater first, and then you need to play Peace Walker after that. And after Peace Walker, you need to play a Phantom Pain. Now, when you finish Phantom Pain, then you can jump into Shadow Moses, Metal Gear Solid Liberty, and when you finish Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, then you need to play the last game, which was Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. So you should play it in this order. Okay, that's how you should play it. You know, and of course here we see Metal Gear Ray, and we also learn that and killing everybody on board. So now he is the terrorist on run, if you will. They're looking after him. They set him up. Basically, they lure him in onto this tanker and they set him up. And this is why we hear and see the new introduction of the character called Raiden. Here, let's listen to this. So now we're going to get to Raiden and Colonel Campbell. And he's going to tell us, okay, you know, this is your mission. Exist, because if they find out that he was alive, they would have captured him. They would have put him to jail or whatnot. So Snake was still alive, but he was camouflaged as Navy SEAL. Let's listen to this a little bit.
Around the whole mess. And then that massive offshore cleanup facility went up inside. The big shell. I hear the
At the big shell as scheduled.
Approximately 6 hours ago, the big shell was seized by an armed group.
Do we have an ID?
Former members of the Navy SEAL Special Anti-Terrorist Training Squad Dead Cell. Russian private army members may also be involved. It's a highly trained group and they have the big shell under complete control.
What are their demands?
$30 billion.
$30 billion? What makes them important person?
James Johnson.
The president?
Unless the demands are met, the terrorists intend to blow the big shell out of the water.
And the crude will ignite, turning the Manhattan Harbor into an inferno.
That's not the worst-case scenario. If the chlorides being used to decontaminate the seawater go up with the oil, toxins containing catastrophic levels of dioxins will be released. In other words, the bay's ecosystem will be wiped out, and the sea will turn into a toxic soup for centuries, becoming the worst environmental disaster in history. You have two mission objectives. One, infiltrate the offshore decontamination facility Big Shell and safeguard the president and other hostages. And two, disarm the terrorists by any means necessary. You should know that SEAL Team 10 is also conducting a rescue.
This is Snake. I'm now inside Strut A of Shell 1.
How are things?
We're in luck. Looks like there are no sentries posted here.
What's the visibility?
The lights on the plant struts are functioning. I won't have to use the IR goggles.
On the roof of the Big Shell as planned. And by the way, Snake, we're changing your code name for all following communication.
What's wrong with Snake?
Just a precaution. You are now designated Raiden. All right, Raiden. You've already covered infiltration and VR training.
I've completed 300 missions in VR. I feel like some kind of legendary mercenary.
5. When you want to use the codec, push the select button. When we need to reach you, contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the select button. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
All right. I'll contact you if anything changes.
First, make your new sneaking suit uses electrofiber technology, a byproduct of fiber optics research. The texture isn't far removed from rubber, but the material protects against a wide range of toxic substances. The suit itself has a wide array of built-in sensors. It is referred to as smart skin in military R&D. Data about damage to different regions of the body, including blood loss. Call this the skull suit in Foxhound.
Skull suit seems appropriate somehow.
The hatch with a circular handle will open into the elevator area. Locate the hatch first.
Copy that. Moving on to main mission objectives.
Raiden being in this game? Well, at first, because remember, we don't know what Hideo Kojima is thinking. We don't know what his future of the Metal Gear franchise is and how all of this is going to be connected and executed. And this is what makes you interested in this franchise and in this game. Was I a bit disappointed? Well, a little bit. everybody else. Everyone was disappointed. But when you finish the game, when you get to the third act and the fourth act, then you understand why he was necessary and why he was introduced, why he's important and to be in part of Guns of the Patriots. It's really expanding the universe of all of these rich characters inside the game. And that it's okay, because when he mentioned that somebody cut through a fence and went through the somebody actually infiltrated here, I knew that even here you'll see Snake. Hold on, you'll see a little glimpse of Snake. There he is. So right there it shows you that he is alive and well, except here actually does exist, and all these different branches of SEALs, they do exist, special forces and whatnot. And I was reassured, okay, Solid Snake is still alive. All right, I have to play with this guy for a little bit, that's fine, you know. But it was necessary. You see, I keep telling people this is right in Metal Gear Solid 2, because if he didn't introduce him, then it wouldn't make sense for him showing up in Guns of the Patriots. The reason Guns of the Patriots felt even better, because now you have Raiden, bigger and better and more badass. And we learn more about the Fox Die program and Naomi. All of this stuff will make sense to you when you play all of, how many games there are. Let me see, Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, there's 3. To you, like you'll have better understanding as to why, you know, they introduced Raiden, why they talked about the Fox Die program. All of these things will be explained to you in detail. So to me, this is where Hideo Kojima is the master of storytelling. All right. Of visuals, audio, characters, but especially the storytelling. Storytelling was very compelling. It was very, it raised the bar to set us up for the Guns of the Patriots. All right, so I spent about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the entire. And why this was the console seller, on top of all the other games that was released that year, including Gran Turismo 3, Ace Specs, Ace Combat, Silent Hill 2, which I'm also going to do an episode on that as well. The Zone of the Enders, and then this game, and Grand Theft Auto 3. There was just like this episode 2. Episode 4. I'm sorry. This is what I'm doing here is I'm doing videos, a segment of games, nostalgia games, where I'm taking you back in time and talking about my experiences that I had with these games back in time. Because I played these games. Episode 4 of nostalgia, gaming, commentary. Hopefully you like this 1 hour and 15 minutes, or 1 hour and 20 minutes that I did here. Like I said, if you have any questions, do ask down below. My next episode 5 is going to be Snake Eater, Big Boss, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. And then episode 6 is going to be games as well. Hopefully you guys like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. There will be also some other videos where I'm going to talk about the difference between two different monitors and different sizes. There will be another video maybe coming in tonight or tomorrow where I'm going to actually talk about 2 different BenQ monitors with the 2 different panels, TN panel, VA panel, and which Now, what you see here, it's Rose. Again, another introduction to the characters. It's Rose. She was very important part of the Metal Gear Solid 2 franchise. But we learn more about the Rose throughout the Metal Gear Solid 2 and then Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Especially in the Guns of the Patriots, we'll learn more about Rose. Okay.
You're free to do what you see fit.
Hey, I prefer this to being kept in the dark waiting.
I'd like to make a request, if I may.
Of course.
His handle is Raiden. For the duration of the mission, could you call him that?
Yes, sir. All right, Raiden. Let me know when you're ready to turn in a save. The proprietary save frequency is 140.96.
I'm sorry.
Oh well, I'll keep trying till I hear the answer. I'm gonna let you go now, Jack. Take care.
Alright, so there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. This is Snake. Thank you for watching this nostalgia gaming commentary. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Alright, Colonel. Guys, enough. We're going to end this video right now. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video pretty soon. Most likely tonight or tomorrow. So stay tuned. Alright, it's over. There's nobody in the elevator. I gotta end. Alright guys, peace out. Colonel, signing out.